Hi. Welcome to Movies Reflexed. Today, I am going to show you a 2017 thriller drama movie titled Cook Up a Storm. Watch out for spoilers. Take care. At the start of the movie, a Chinese chef named Gao is seen. He used to cook many delicious foods. He has a small restaurant, but he keeps it neat and clean. And he takes much interest in his profession. But what happened to Gao in the past was not very bright as now. His father left him in the care of a chef only so that he could learn to cook. Gao had aspired to be a great chef one day. And he will get everything which he was unable to achieve in his childhood. Gao's father was a great chef. And now, he had become an expert, or a master chef. But his son Gao used to detest his father. He hated him because he had passed his childhood without his father. He also used to miss him, but his father never really felt it. On the other side, Gao's father was also happy that the people didn't knew that he has a son. And this fact used to make Gao even more sad. Now the story turns. And a young, talented and charming chef comes on the scene. He used to cook for the aristocratic families. His name was Paul. He has a dream to build a restaurant in his own country for his father. That's why he returns to his own country, leaving foreign and other faculties. He goes to the fishing dealer in a raw market. He tells him to show him a big fish. But the dealer forbids him. As Gao comes to buy the big fish from him, then that man sells him the big fish. Noticing it, Paul becomes furious. And he stares at Gao with anger. As he was feeling jealous, thinking, why did he sell the fish to him? Then, noticing both of them angry, the fish seller divides the fish into two parts so that they don't begin to fight over it. In spite of it, both of them continue to stare at each other angrily. Now, Paul's marvelous and amazing restaurant is seen. Its inauguration is held today. It was built very neat and clean. It had a chilly and stylish vibe into it. It was adorned with precise care. Paul's new restaurant was exactly in front of Gao's restaurant. Not a sinjit. Gao's friends were worried. Because this restaurant was going to attract all the customers towards it. It was going to take their customers as well. And what they were fearing the most also becomes the happening. All the customers move to the new restaurant for checking the dishes, so Gao's friends offer the discounts to support him, which appeals to the customers. And they again direct themselves towards Gao's restaurant. Paul's friends had also become aggressive in this matter. Coming outside, they angrily argue with them. What exactly is the matter with you? You don't have the courage to see us at our best. At the end, the both rivals decide that there will be a cooking competition. And we will decide whose dish's taste is superior than the other. Now, both are demanded to partake in the cooking competition forcefully. At first, they were not agreeing. But after looking at each other, they both recognize they had met at the fish market. So, they get ready for the cooking competition. Now, the table is set, and a big fish is placed on it. It had to be cut by the both of them. First of all, Paul cuts the fish. And he begins to extract its fish bones very quickly and precisely. Everyone likes his method. Now, he throws the fish to Gao. Gao also starts to cut the fish very skillfully. When he shows the skin to the others, then there was not a little fish meat with it. It was clean as a paper. So all compliment him. It means both of them are equally appreciated. There was also a chairman. He tells them about the International Chef Challenge competition. I think you both should participate in it. Now, the both had to prove once and for all who is the superior chef between them. So they both get ready. Now, Paul tells social media. I used to cook in France. And coming into China, I realized that people still use the traditional ways for cooking. It is obvious that he was conveying this message to Gao in a hidden way. Hearing it, Gao becomes very angry. They all know that they will face each other in that competition first. They will be able to reach to the final competition. If they win it, they will also get the opportunity to meet the master chef. And that master chef was not anyone else but the father of Gao. Paul's friend comes to Gao's restaurant and invites him and his friends to his restaurant. She invites them for dining. Now, Gao and his friends go to Paul's restaurant. But Paul doesn't serve the food to them. His friend did. The meal was appearing as a fried egg and a plant. But its taste was unique. Gao thinks after tasting that Paul's cooking is very different. He directly moves to the restaurant's kitchen and furiously says to Paul, What do you want to prove showing your tasty meal? That you are a master chef? Paul remains silent and asks him to cook meat. Let's check who can cook the meal more tasty. Gao welcomes the challenge. Gao cooks the meat skillfully. It was looking very tasty. Now, Paul tells him, I will show you how to cook this dish using the same recipe. Paul begins. He cooks the same dish in recorded time. Gao doesn't find any difference when he smells it. Then he understands that his method of cooking is very progressive. Being upset, he leaves that place. Now, someone says to Gao, your father is calling you. Gao moves to his father. He asks, why did you call me now? Even though you don't accept that I am your son. Then his father says, I did it so that the world may not say that you are my son. This is the cause that you got the chance to partake in the International Chef Challenge competition. I am confident that you will do it yourself. Gao says, Father, I don't need your help anyway. You were not with me when I needed you. Anyhow, I will prove it that I can do it. The same reason you left me for. Now, Gao leaves this place because he doesn't trust on a single word of his father. Next day, the International Chef Challenge competition is held. Everything has been prepared. Participants, Gao and Paul are also ready. The time starts. Paul is assigned a sweet dish while Gao cooks a chicken dish. They both begin to make their dishes with care. Paul prepares his dish before the completion of the time. Afterwards, Gao's delicious dish is also cooked. He had also completed his assigned challenge on time. Judges and the spectators are very impressed. Now, their dishes are tasted. They both get the same numbers. Because the judges were not finding a lot of difference in both their dishes' taste. The both foods were equally tasty. Then a judge appears on the stage. He says, no doubt. The taste of both participants' dish was superb. But I like the time management of Paul than Gao. So, Paul has won this competition. Paul is extremely excited here. Gao has lost the competition. So, he doesn't return to his house in pessimism. He goes to play video games. He keeps himself engaged like this for many days. One day, the same chef comes to him. Under whose supervision, Gao's childhood has passed. And Gao's father had also left him under his care. He explains to Gao, look, victory and defeat are the part of human life. You may haven't won today. But it doesn't mean that you will never win. But Gao wasn't ready to return to the house. He agrees after a great explanation. He will have to train himself for the next competition returning home. Being excited, Paul moves to his restaurant. He drinks, and his friends were also seated in front of him. While talking, his friends suggest him. Paul, why don't you give the chance to your friend? She has been with you for a long time. Trust her. You should permit her to represent you in the international competition. Chimera is in the name of your restaurant. Paul says to him. Yeah. She is my good friend, I don't deny it. But she doesn't know how to cook. So how can she represent my restaurant internationally? His friends talks more. It was appearing from his conversation as he is in planning with his friend and the lust which is breeding in their heart. Then Paul's that friend comes before him and placing 2 soup cups, she says. Paul, can you tell me which soup cup has more quality of salt? Here, Paul is silent. Because he had an issue of testing. His taste buds couldn't taste foods. And it was natural. So, Paul is grieved because of it. That his own friend have betrayed him meeting hands with others. So his friend says. What happened, Paul? Why do you think that I have affections for you? It was your misunderstanding. Pure love don't exist these days. I only befriended you so that I can take part in the international competition by using you. It wasn't easy for me to partake as such. But what did you even give me in return? I kept your secret. You didn't even offer me. I will not keep quiet anymore. Because now, I can also partake in this competition. Now, one more secret is revealed that Paul's friend was cheating on him with his other friend. They both were in a relationship now. And they were playing a trick against Paul. That they will sell Paul's restaurant and they will start their new life with money from it. But Paul couldn't let this happen. And he comes out of his restaurant. The night falls and he begins to take alcohol sitchong outside. Then, he sees that Gao is coming towards him. He says, why are you so sad? You have got the victory. You should be happy. Then Paul says to him. Yeah. I have won, but also lost many things. Anyways, leave it. I will tell you a secret. Can you see that poster ahead? Actually, there is the photo of Gao's father, the master chef. Pointing his finger towards it. Paul says, "He is my idol. I want to be like him." Then, Gao lightly smiles and tells Paul, "He is my father. You think that he is a gentleman and you may be like him. Then let me tell you. My father is not a kind-hearted man." Gao begins to tell him his past story. What he had done to him. At first, Paul says, "You are kidding me. Stop it." But Gao tells him that he had left me in my childhood only because I was staining his career. I have spent my whole childhood without him. So Paul says, "Don't be sad. What can we do now?" Then Gao says, "We can throw bottles." Then they begin to throw empty bottles towards that poster. They feel very excitement and they are befriended here. This moment is very pleasurable. When he returns from there, Paul observes that his friends are bargaining his restaurant. Paul asks them, "What is happening here? How can you do this without my permission?" So his friends tell him, "Tell us, with whom will you accompany in the international cooking competition? Because, in this second part of the competition, you cannot cook alone. Your partner's presence is essential. Will you accompany her?" So Paul says, "I am not insane. I have decided whom I will take with me. He is really reliable." Paul announces the name of Gao here. Hearing it, his friends are disappointed. One of them says, "Remember, Paul. Your career will be dashed into dust." So Paul hits him on his head. And he drives them away from here. When they leave then, Gao's guardian chef says to Paul, "Have you really thought that you will accompany Gao with you?" Paul says, "Why not?" He also touches Gao's shoulders. And he says, he deserves it. All are excited. Here, the preparation of the competition is started. It decided between both of them that Paul will teach Gao the new skills of his cooking, while Gao teaches him his traditional ways of cooking. Gao says to Paul, "Don't be worried. If you don't have any sense of taste, then I will help you to cure your sense of taste." He continues to explain him. Do it as such. Paul also continues to tell him the new methods of cooking. They both spend a very good time here. They begin to practice cooking daily while singing, dancing, and talking. That day also arrives. When the second part of the international chef competition is held, they begin to cook their dish perfectly. And they prepare a perfect sweet dish in a very short period of time. The judges like this food so much that they declare that they have never tasted any dish as such till now. And they both win this round. And it is rightly said, unity is strength. Now, the third round of the international cooking competition starts. Here, Paul says to Gao, "I think you can win this competition." Gao says to Paul, "You are a perfect chef. You also know the modern methods. So you can cook better than me." Then Paul says, "No, it is not like this. Look. I have fulfilled the dream of my father. I have built the restaurant. So you just fulfill your father's dream. He wanted to see you as a great chef. Cook the meal in front of him. And prove to him that you are a great chef." Gao agrees and gratifies Paul. The third round had started now. The master chef also begins to cook his dish. Gao also starts. But before it, a flashback plays in Gao's mind, where his father had left him. And many kids used to threaten him. He was lost in these past memories. Coming here, his father throws water on his face. He says, "Start your cooking." Then Gao begins to cook something. Contrarily, Gao's father cooks a very delicious and beautiful dish. Its presentation was comprising fire that produced a flour. There is a great taste of that flour. The judges love it. When there is the turn of Gao and he is asked to show what he has cooked. So, with a bowl of noodles, he goes to his father. And he shows it to him. Master Chef tastes it and also loves this noodle. And these are the same noodles which were the cause of Gao's father rejecting him. That he couldn't even make noodles. And Gao had cooked the noodles very tasty today. His father couldn't control himself while eating. And he begins to eat the noodles frantically. After a while, he pauses his eating and says, "Well done, my son. You cooked the noodles perfectly." He becomes emotional here. The audience also come to know that their family name are the same. And their actions are showing as they are father and son. Here, Gao's dream had also been fulfilled, and also his father's. It is seen in that restaurant that Paul and Gao are working together. And their customers are more than ever. They were really busy handling everything. The people loved their food. And there is a hustle and bustle in their restaurant. And with it, the movie ends here. If you enjoyed this video then please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the upcoming uploads. Thank you for watching.